The Two Towers, the middle section of Tolkien's massive novel, The Lord of the Rings, starts to introduce real multiple viewpoints in the way we expected to see them in other novels. Our heroes have been separated, and the divisions down the way are going to be odd books for the shinier heroes, for the more traditional heroic warrior heroes, and the even books for Frodo, Sam, and Gollum. We're continuing to move deeper into fantasy, but one half of each volume will follow a bunch of traditional adventurers doing fairly traditional daring do. There are at least two different groups of point of view there. Tolkien will use the multiple points of view to set up little tricks like things you don't know, questions, especially he will set up a cliffhanger at the end of each book of this novel trilogy from from book 3 to book 5. It's always going to end on a cliffhanger because you don't know what's going to happen. It's also important to realize the traditional warrior heroes who are having their battles and their sieges are moving faster and faster. They're they're running in the clean. They're running in open fields. They are getting horses. They're moving around from throne room to throne room, from battle site to battle site much more quickly. While Frodo and Sam, who are on the kind of more spiritual inner journey, the journey of the sufferer, are trudging. They are continuing to trudge and plod through more and more difficult terrain that fights them. They're not getting anywhere fast. Their Frodo's ultimate journey is somewhere deeper. Is inside, not outside. It is a question of his moral judgment, of his willingness to endure, of his willingness to sacrifice. We see a character we thought was gone come back. Was he really dead? Actually, I would say yes, he was really dead. He has been reclothed. He has been put back into flesh. This also goes with Tolkien's fundamentally Catholic worldview. He has left the world and been given a body again. That body looks like an old man, but he was never young. He's just been incarnated like that. We are going to get our first female character that people want to cheer for. Anyone, a warrior heroine. And she is often held up, and I have done it too, as like an example. Tolkien isn't just like massage. He's not bound to like the old medieval stuff. But before we get too excited, there are warrior heroines like Eowyn, but more so starting in the 1500s. So Tolkien's gender politics are well behind Ludovico Ariosto's and behind Edmund Spencer's. When your gender politics are behind Edmund Spencer's, take a breath, look in the mirror. Um, Eowyn is great, but she's no Britomart. Britomart from Spencer's The Fairy Queen. And Eowyn's warriorness is always presented in this novel as a problem, as something that's great about her, but also as a problem to be solved, as a symptom of something that's wrong with that young lady. Okay, that needs to be fixed. The two more quick things. One is the smarter of the adventure heroes, particularly Aragorn and Gandalf, understand their adventures as merely a set of deflections, distractions, feints. Like the set piece of the helm of at the siege of Helm's Deep, the defense of Helm's Deep, is kind of a beloved part of this book. But that's like a rear guard action against really tertiary guys. They're not winning; they're just trying not to lose. And all of this is underwritten by the fact that they don't know what's going on with the ring. They only know so much. They know Frodo has gone. They don't know how it's doing. And they know that everything they do is actually trivial compared to what Frodo is doing. Readers naturally are more interested in the kind of quests and adventures and endless side quests of Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli and the boys and Merry and Pippin and whatnot. But but they themselves don't see it that way. They see themselves as a sideshow. The other thing that's crucial here is decision making. Right at the beginning, Aragorn makes a decision. He has to decide which hobbits in trouble to follow. And his decision, as typical for decision making for Tolkien heroes, is not strategic but moral. He does the thing, even though he doesn't have much hope of saving Merry and Pippin, he goes to do it because he's the only one who can do it. He feels that he has a moral obligation, so that's what he does. Now, the heroes on the even on the kind of sunlit side of the novel, there's a sunlit side where they're all having their adventures, even in dark night sieges, and there's the dark side, the shadow side, where Frodo and Sam have to wrestle with real and metaphorical darkness. The heroes on the sunlit side are actually being moved around by things that aren't theirs. They're often not succeeding. They go off to rescue Merry and Pippin. They don't. But they manage in a kind of Vladimir Prop way. Well, like those if Vladimir Prop teaches to think of like characters as fulfilling plot functions, the orcs managed to are the ones who managed to make the introduction of the young hobbits to Fangorn. The chase of Merry and Pippin is to get Aragorn and his buddies lined up to show up and meet Theoden and be part of the defense of Helm's Deep. That there's a larger power. We can think of Providence. Though in practice it's Tolkien. The implication is it's a deeper providence that's moving these characters around to where they need to be. The way to get where you need to be in a Tolkien novel is to do the right thing, the thing you're morally obliged to do. The smart play is to go after Frodo. Frodo has all the chips riding on a little chain in his little hobbit waistcoat. That is the way to go. Merry and Pippin, yeah, well, I mean, they might, if they're tortured and interrogated, they might expose things, but also you don't have a chance of helping them. That is not the logic Aragorn uses at all. He does not decide where he's going to make the best impact. He thinks about what he's got to do. No one else is going to save those guys. They're my companions. I've got to go save them. Even if I fail at doing that, I have to try. And that is why this novel's special plot providence rewards him.